Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
June 12, 2020, the Brother Can You Spare 12 million euros edition. First up, Amazon to face massive antitrust charges from the EU over its treatment of third-party sellers. The charges turn on Amazon scooping up data from third-party sellers and using that information to compete against them. For some reason, the United States has not been able to follow up on this, so the EU, expanding the bloc's efforts to rein in the alleged abuses of power by a handful of large American tech companies, is moving forward. The charges, the first set of formal antitrust accusations against the company, could be officially filed as early as this week or next week. The EU has been honing its case for some time, and the formal charges would come as at the same time the U.S. is facing scrutiny from the United States, but it's unclear when the U.S. will or if they will bring charges. Next up, in our lead story from KYC 360, a former homeless man is held in a $12.6 million euro money laundering case. A 35-year-old man arrested last month in connection with one of the biggest money laundering cases in the Netherlands was identified as a homeless person originally from the country of Georgia. The case uncovered last month had police stumbling upon 12.6 million euros in cash hidden away in an Eindhoven residence where he was living. The man claimed innocence and has remained silent about the origin of the very high sum of cash. He claimed he does not know who owns the house in question and is leaning on his recent homelessness status as proof he had nothing to do with the money laundering. He was arrested on May 1, and if you need a handout, he might be the guy for you. Next up, from the Houston Chronicle, Pemex. If you're doing business with Pemex, well, I'm sorry, because they are suspending contracts with service providers, suppliers, and others. And this means if you haven't been paid, you're probably not going to be paid. The bulk of the cancellations is for offshore maintenance and shallow water hubs. And, of course, this means not only greater safety problems, but also greater cash flow problems. Pemex is in deep trouble because of the downturn in the price of oil, the downturn in the demand for oil, the actions of the United States in drill, baby, drill, and, of course, the Saudis and the Russians who killed the market with their price war, even though they backed off that. So Pemex in a lot of trouble, but more importantly, if you're a U.S. company that's done business with Pemex, you're going to be in a world of hurt because you probably never get paid now. And finally, from the New York Times, Goldman Sachs is in negotiations with the U.S. Department of Justice to try to avoid pleading guilty in the 1MDB scandal. The company has jumped the heads of the rank and file prosecutors who have brought the charges to try to get the Department of Justice to ease up. They've gone directly to the Deputy Attorney General, the DAG, Jeffrey Rosen, and asked him to intercede on their behalf. It's unclear if they'll get up to Bill Barr, who formerly worked at a law firm which represented Goldman. So Goldman using the influence it has to try to get the Department of Justice to lessen their penalty. They do not want to plead guilty. So it's going to be interesting to see whether Bill Barr intercedes and makes a political calculation or if a large donation is made to the Trump campaign. It certainly will not help the Department of Justice's current proceedings around the Michael Flynn case, where they clearly made a political judgment on behalf of President Trump's friends. It's unknown whether Goldman Sachs will try to intercede directly with President Trump. But we'll certainly keep an eye on it, and it's a major anti-corruption case that could come out as early as September. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.